argue that data can actually help us to do a lot of things. And by data, I don't mean just data that are used at the school level and by teachers to identify particular strengths and weaknesses of their students and to see what kinds of interventions are working. But data can also help us to identify low-performing schools. It can help us to identify patterns about where those low-performing schools are located and in the country and within states, and also other kinds of characteristics of those low-performing schools. Now, why does that matter? I'm going to argue that that matters because knowing something about the distribution of low-performing schools helps one to figure out where to make investments and what kind of investments to make. And we've discussed already a little bit about the federal role, and knowing, I'm going to argue, about these patterns helps us to be able to figure out what kinds of political strategies might make the most sense for different kinds of situations, different kinds of distributions. All right, we could probably spend a lot of time talking about how to define a low-performing school. But I think fundamentally one of the things that we could probably come to consensus on is that low-performing schools at least minimally have low graduation rates. Whatever other nuances we might look for, having a low graduation rate might be considered a good marker of a low-performing school.